Now to Myanmar, where a Rohingya armed group has declared a month-long ceasefire, saying it wants to allow aid in. Myanmar's government, though, has rejected the truce offer. The armed group we're talking about calls themselves the Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army, and here's what we know about it. They say their aim is to defend, salvage and protect Muslim Rohingya people from attacks by the military. The Myanmar government describes them as an extremist Bengali terrorist group and blames them for the fighting in Rakhine State, which has caused the humanitarian crisis. The group rose to prominence last year when they killed 9 police officers. Its size is unknown. Most estimates are a few hundred men. Now, the United Nations says about 290,000 Rohingya have now crossed into Bangladesh in the past 2 weeks to escape the fighting in Rakhine State. The army says it's only targeting Rohingya armed groups, but civilians who've made it out say soldiers are targeting everyone and burning entire villages to the ground. Now, I want to show you this heartbreaking letter. Let's bring it up. That's just been published on Aljazeera.com. This is a message to the world from Jasin, a 12-year-old Rohingya from Rakhine State who fled Myanmar just 13 days ago. Before this recent crisis, Jasin was a normal boy studying at school. His favorite subject, English. He says because if he knows English, he can communicate with many people across the world. And his message to the world today is, we are citizens of Myanmar. If they were to declare us citizens, we would be very happy. This is what we want. Let's now speak to Professor Wakar Uddin. He is Director General of Arakan Rohingya Union, and he's via Skype from State College in the U.S. state of Pennsylvania. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Uddin.
Thank you.
A growing sense of desperation among Myanmar's Rohingya Muslims. Many that our correspondents have been able to speak to have said they feel abandoned, they feel let down. We had today Turkey's president calling on Muslim countries to come together to help the Rohingya people. And in the past few days, we've seen quite a few gestures of support, demonstrations, and so on. But this clearly is not enough. What, in your view, should the Muslim world do today to help the Rohingya people?
There are 57 member states in OIC. There's a big bloc of Muslim countries. Like Turkey, all other states should come forward strongly, forcefully speak out about it, and they should form a strong coalition along with international community like Western countries and bring that to pressure United Nations Security Council to take up this issue formally. And we have done many times resolutions in United Nations General Assembly, Human Rights Council for many years that didn't give any result. Now is Security Council. Security Council should be forced to consider demilitarization on other state and send UN peacekeeping force like in Lebanon, like in Africa. And countries, OIC countries just like Pakistan and Saudi Arabia and other countries have good relations with China and Russia, and they should ask China and Russia not to block.
Okay, so you think the Security Council should intervene. Now, I want to show our viewers this map that our online teams put together, countries that are hosting Rohingya Muslims fleeing from Myanmar right now. The majority of them, 625,000, have taken refuge in Bangladesh. Countries like Malaysia as well, Pakistan, Thailand, Indonesia, the biggest Muslim country in the world, has also taken in a few thousand. This crisis, though, you say, Mr. Uddin, that the UN Security Council should intervene, but this crisis comes down to the issue of citizenship of the Rohingya people. These are people who are stateless, and, you know, do you think any of these countries where they are right now should perhaps offer them a nationality, a passport, give them more rights? Should the Muslim world also be considering, shouldn't they be considering that as well?
Oh, that's an option, but, you know, that's something that we would not prefer because Rohingya people have their own homeland. There's Rohan, Arakan. Why should they leave, go to another country to live because there's a violence? We should stay. Rohingya people, all of them should stay in their homeland and to fight for their rights. Citizenship, they had the citizenship that's been revoked. And, you know, NRC, National Registration Certificate, was given to Rohingya by government of Myanmar since 1947 according to Constitution. So those cards, NRC, National Registration certificate should be regranted, reissued to Rohingya people, not NVC. NVC process currency is flawed because it is devised by military, and there's no Rohingya do not have any documents. You see, they have their homes are burned, they have left, they have fled. So what kind of document they can show to comply with NVC? So NRC is their answer, and then amendment and dismantle or amendment of 1982 citizenship law, so that this NRC, reissuing NRC to Rohingya people can be implemented.
Mr. Uddin, I have a question here from one of our viewers on Facebook, Ahmed, who says, can you imagine how the world would have reacted if the Rohingya were Christians? He asks, where are our Muslim leaders? What do you say to that?
Yes, you know, the Rohingya issue has not been a top agenda in the international forum. It has been doing better. So we have a long way to go. But again, that's why my point is that we need to build a strong coalition against Security Council, UN peacekeeping force, and demilitarization. Now, I want to make a point. Myanmar is a member of the United Nations. If the United Nations send the peacekeeping force, and then for a safe zone in Arakan, Rakhine State, and that will not be the sovereignty issue for Myanmar. So it will not be territorial integrity issue. But this is a safe issue for all citizens living there. So yes, Rohingya issue, like any other religious faith in the world, deserve to be looked at, considered, kept at the high-profile international community. That's what we can do. That's what we can do through United Nations and a strong coalition of OIC member states and European countries, North American countries as well.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. Waqar Uddin, Director General of the Arakan Rohingya Union, joining us there from State College in the U.S. state of Pennsylvania. Thank you very much for your time, sir.